Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how to activate your sourdough starter, which is kept in the refrigerator until you need it. I have 2 jars. As you can see, I date them as well. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to activate it so that we can make sourdough bread a little bit later. So I took these out of the refrigerator, let them sit here for about 45 minutes, give or take a few. That's my spare. This is the one we're going to activate. We activate it by leaving it out at room temperature for about 45 minutes after removing it from the refrigerator, where we'll immediately begin to see it bubble. That's because it's activating. Now we're going to feed it. You feed it equal amounts of white flour and water. Don't use tap water. Use purified or distilled. You don't want chlorine in there. So, to one of my 2 sourdough starter jars, I'm going to add equal amounts of water and flour. In it goes. Now we're going to stir it. As I'm stirring this, I can smell the yeast in here, which is good, which is what we want. Stir it up. Here we go. Make sure that we get all the flour dissolved, of course. Let this sit there. Anyway, here it is. We're going to let this sit until it bubbles up good, and then we're going to feed it again. The objective here is to get about 1 cup. All right, we're here to do a status on our sourdough batter and the starter. As you can see, it's starting to bubble, which is what we want. About a half an hour from now, we'll go ahead and give it yet a second feeding of equal parts bottled water and equal parts of flour. We'll place here and again here into our batter jars, because I always keep a spare. You never know. Anyway, the idea here is to get about a cup or so of the sourdough batter. I just wanted you to see how the starter is rising up and really foaming up here. That's what I need. So back to our original starters that we keep on hand. Make sure you cover these up in the refrigerator. Don't just stick them in there like this or put a lid on them. You need to cover them up so they can breathe. I love coffee filters for this purpose. So what you're going to want to do here is, once you have added your water and flour to keep it going, cover it up with a rubber band on top of these filters and put them on the bottom shelf of your refrigerator. Remember that this is a living organism and it has to breathe. As you can see, with the addition of a little bit of sugar to this sourdough starter, it is really beginning to bubble up now. Okay, now we're getting to the part where we're going to start combining our ingredients. We combine our wet ingredients and our dry ingredients separately. Then we combine them into one and fold them. Preparing sourdough bread is not the same as preparing a yeast-based bread. There is no kneading required, just some folding and time. Anyway, here we go. We have our batter here, which is all ready, to which we're going to add about 1 cup or so of buttermilk, or a substitute, which I use kefir because I make it. And when I double ferment and strain it, it basically turns into buttermilk. We're going to do kefir another video, so stay tuned. Anyway, here's my little measuring cup. It contains 4.5 ounces, so I'm getting just a little bit over a cup here. I love bowl scrapers. I also love trains. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're folding the ingredients. We're not going to knead it or spend a whole lot of time doing this. The idea at this point of our process is to make sure that all the wet ingredients and dry ingredients have combined. Then we just cover it for 30 minutes, let it rest, and wait till you see what happens within 30 minutes here. Stay tuned. Can you see how I'm folding that all really nicely? No kneading, just fold it around a little bit. Ah, perfect. And now we will cover it with plastic and let the magic happen. All right, now comes the part where our sourdough batter mixture has to ferment for about the next 8 hours or so. Stay tuned.